Hello, welcome to a special edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of CropLife and CropLife Iron magazines. Here on the Saturday after Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving holiday, we hope all you out there, you viewers, had a great Thanksgiving with your families and loved ones and enjoyed lots of food. And if you were brave enough to shop on Black Friday, I hope you found some nice bargains for the upcoming Christmas holiday. Here at CropLife, of course, this is the time of year when we are giving thanks to all the folks that make our business what it is, the ag retailers. And as a part of that, of course, for the last 39 years, we have put together our annual CropLife 100 report. So I'm here today in a special video by myself to give you some highlights from this year's report, explaining some of the things that you're going to find out about as we go through the next month and a half as we release information and the magazine comes out. But first off, let me just say that, if I had to sum up this 39th year of the CropLife 100 for the 100 biggest ag retailers in the country, the word would be wow. I've never seen a year quite like this. Overall sales were up about $11 billion to $46 billion from the prior year. And again, normally at a CropLife 100, if you get $1 billion, $2 billion increase in the market, that's cause for celebration. So on almost an $11 billion increase for the top 100 ag retailers, I dare say everyone was giving a lot of thanks this Thanksgiving season. So just to explain a little bit deeper about where this growth was coming from, basically you don't need to look any further than the fertilizer category. Now, again, as way of review, for the CropLife 100, we look at 4 different categories: fertilizer, crop protection, seed, and custom application, which includes precision agricultural products and services. And the fertilizer market did exceptionally well. Sales in 2021 for that category were a little over $15 billion. In 2022, sales were $23.4 billion. That's a huge increase year over year. And again, market share, you saw fertilizer. And again, if you're looking at the screen right now, in 2021, fertilizer held a 43% market share versus the other 3 categories that I just mentioned. And here in 2022, that market share increased by 8%. Now, 51% of all crop input and services sales for the top 100 ag retailers are now going to the fertilizer market and the fertilizer category. So again, now with that type of growth, of course, with fertilizer growing so big, as you might note here, the other categories all lost market share. Now, that's not to say they didn't have good years. Actually, crop protection was up a couple of $1 billion from about $12 billion to $15 billion. Custom application also improved by about not quite $1 billion in sales year over year. The one category that did sort of lag behind was seed. And again, it wasn't a bad year for seed per se. In 2021, seed sales as a category topped $5 billion. And here in 2022, also $5 billion. So the market was flat. But of course, with fertilizer growing as much as it did for the total market, that meant that market share for every other category did drop. So the 8% that fertilizer gained came from everything else, and seed was one of the big losers, dropping 3% from 14% market share down to 11%. Now, why was this happening? Again, talking to ag retailers over the course of the year, it sounds like there was quite a bit of prevent plant going on in certain parts of the country. And I was talking to a friend in South Dakota not too long ago, and he said that it wasn't quite as severe as we saw back in 2019. But that prevent plant in 2022 was still, over a couple million acres that did not get planted. So that may definitely had a negative impact on seed sales, which is why they stayed flat versus the rest of the marketplace going up. Now, of course, folks will remind me, and they have as I've talked about this over the last few weeks, that, hey, Eric, of course, fertilizer sales were up because the cost to buy fertilizer in the first place was also up. Now, that is true. And of course, that I would assume if it was just a rise in raw material costs from suppliers to the ag retailers that was causing this uptick in overall sales, you would imagine profitability would have been impacted. Now, here on your screen right now, I'm showing you, we asked on the top 100 every year about profitability level. Now, here in 2021, here is a pie chart which shows that according to last year's survey results, 70% of the ag retailers in the 100 said they were more profitable from the year before. And as you might note, about 14% said that they were less profitable. Now, if profitability was being impacted by more raw material costs, supplier costs to the ag retailers, you would assume this number would have come down. Not the case. As you can see here in the graph from 2022, 77% of the ag retailers say they were more profitable this year than they were in the prior year. And better yet, the less profitable group dropped to only 8%. So again, that wasn't the whole story here. And also more proof of this, the fact that profitability was pretty widespread among the CropLife 100 ag retailers, is when you look at the 100 ag retailers themselves. Now, in a normal year, I'm always looking at the surveys from the prior year, comparing them to this year's survey results. In a normal year, about a third of the ag retailers say their sales were better than the year before, about a third were about the same, and about a third were less or lower than the prior year. This year, when I asked the 100 ag retailers, how did they do in terms of sales this year versus last, 99 out of 100 said that their sales were either even or basically flat, or 79 of the 99 said their sales were higher in 22 versus in 2021. Only one company out of the CropLife 100 had a sales decline year over year. So again, 99 out of 100 having a good year. Again, going back to the one word I started this video with, wow. So if you want more information on this type of statistical data and figures and the rankings themselves of the top 100, please check out our December 2022 edition of the magazine, which should be out around the 10th of the month. And also throughout the month of December, we'll be posting stories on our website, CropLife.com, looking at all this information as well. Now, since this is a video, I've got a couple other special tidbits to share with you. Things that did not make our final report, but I'd like to share nonetheless. One of the big topics the last year or so, of course, has been carbon credits. Everybody's been talking about sustainable ag and how carbon credits, what role that might play in the marketplace with grower customers. And of course, everyone's wondering what role ag retailers may play when it comes to this particular category. So we actually asked the question for the first time on the survey, carbon credits. What role do you think ag retailers will play? Big, small, or will they have no role whatsoever? So looking at the statistics from this year's survey, 53% of our respondents said they thought ag retailers would play a small role in carbon credits with their grower customers. 39% thought that the role would be big, and 8% think that there will be no role for ag retailers moving forward with this initiative. So, and again, one of the key points here is it seems like the larger the CropLife 100 ag retailer was, if their sales were over $100 million or higher, they seem to think that there'll be a bigger role for the ag retailers moving forward with carbon credits. Companies under $100 million in sales, they tended to lean more towards they'll play a small role or no role in the marketplace. So one other interesting tidbit, of course, we've been asking for years about e-commerce and offering digital sales to customers for ag retailers. Of course, this goes back many years when you had the growth of companies like FBN And a lot of people were doing digital sales between 2016, 17, and 18. We started asking this question a few years ago, and it was pretty much about a 50-50 split. About half the ag retailers were offering some form of e-commerce to their customer base, and the other half were not. Now, in 2022, we asked this question, and it's interesting. The number of ag retailers offering e-commerce is dropping. This year, 65% of the respondents said they no longer offer e-commerce or never have offered e-commerce options to their grower customers. 35% said that, yes, they are offering some type of e-commerce service to their customer base. Now, what's interesting is those percentages dropped 10% one to the other from 2021. 2021, 45% of the ag retailers were offering e-commerce, 55% were not. Now, again, this is, it was just one question on the survey. It's something we're going to need to look at going forward. I know recently I was at a meeting and someone there was talking about the up and coming Generation Z in the marketplace, and mentioned the fact that according to a Purdue survey of those up-and-comers, that they prefer a digital option, a digital relationship with their ag retailers, not an interpersonal one. So again, with Gen Z coming up, as the baby boomer generation hits retirement age and disappears from the marketplace, you would assume that the e-commerce numbers would be going up, but they've been dropping the last few years. So again, that's something that we here at CropLife will be looking to explore moving forward into 2023 and beyond. Now, finally, speaking of 2023, as I noted at the top of our video, this is the 39th year for the CropLife 100. So next year is going to be the 40th anniversary of when we first introduced the CropLife 100 ranking system to the marketplace. Now, as a part of that, of course, we're planning to do a year-long celebration looking at different aspects of the marketplace. We're going to focus on the key segments, cooperatives, independent retailers, and also the big nationals. Look at what's going on in with those three different segments, what makes them distinct and unique here today versus how they looked 40 years ago when we first started out. Also be doing some focuses on companies that have made changes, entered the CropLife 100 through acquisitions, gone through some consolidations and name changes. And we're also going to be looking, of course, at the big CropLife 100 40th anniversary celebration, which will take place in the December 2023 edition. So again, we have a lot coming up. We hope you will enjoy it all in the next year or so. Hope you enjoyed this video and this little snapshot from myself. On behalf of me, Eric Sfiligoj, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you again soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.